Hello, it's your pal Rebecca. You're watching Syrian Sage. We're doing an episode of Ask the Mystic today. And that's because someone sent me a question. I'm going to read you the letter and I'm going to take all of the personally identifying details out of it. And then I'm going to tell you what my response is. But this client did not book with me, so this is pretty one sided, kind of like my video readings of the tarot or geomancy. So let's begin. Dear Madam, thank you so much for the opportunity of writing to you. I saw your amazing comments on Reddit about the Akashic Records. I dared to ask for your contact. I'm writing with great sorrow and pain. I'd like to ask your opinion or advice about a strange, painful, and outrageous situation that happened to me. Maybe some clarity can come after for me to move on. Me and my ex had a 1 year relationship. I was the most happy man, and she is a gorgeous and talented musician. We went to play beautiful music for a cruise line, and sounds like this was late last year. She was married before with another professional musician. After 10 years, their relationship ended. After another year and a half, we met. She was the most amazing person I ever met. I wanted to marry her. We tried to have a child. After 10 months on land, we got the chance to go and work on that cruise. But since arriving to the big city, she changed, being more cold and more aggressive. After 2 weeks in the big city for rehearsals, we embarked on the ship. After another 2 weeks, she broke up with me by saying outrageous things, humiliating me as a man, human, and artist. Because her behavior made me cry on stage, I searched for support and I recorded her swearing and cursing. I showed this to the manager in HR because mentally and emotionally I became a wreck. After 4 days, they fired me. She lied at HR and started an affair with her manager. I actually don't know when it started exactly, but around that date, I found out later about the affair. She continued the contract. We never spoke since then. I worked there since 2016. She just came then. I still cry after her. She behaved with me so beautifully all the 10 months, amazingly. I was part of her family. I loved her immensely. She was my dream love. What I don't understand is what made her switch like that in such a horrible way. After months, I realized my dismissal was a kind of retaliation. So I wrote a petition to the state of blah for investigating my dismissal, but I don't know how successful it will be. The petition was very well documented, but they are powerful and I have proof. I also contacted a specialized lawyer and he will analyze my case. The most shocking is that I dreamed a future with her. It was so real. I felt that was a karmic meeting. I knew we met before in other lives, and losing her was my greatest nightmare. After I felt I cannot live without her. I never expected this unfolding, at least if we could talk about what we did wrong. We are now in total no contact. When she left the ship, she was totally disgusted and hating me. In 1 month, she became from the dearest to a devil, and I miss her. What do you think? Will the universe give her some kind of karma after what she did, taking my bread? And do you think the petition will have any effect for some compensation or rehabilitation? I feel completely lost as a man, human, and musician. I have no idea where my life will go. Um, I now work elsewhere playing piano. My dreams about building a family also collapsed. I loved her so much. I'm even able to say if she became normal, I'd gladly open my arms for her again, but I know it's impossible. Everything was such a mystery. What do you think? So there's the letter. First of all, you're welcome. I am honored that you feel that you can trust me with that very deep outpouring of emotion, and I can really relate to that. Since you did not actually book with me, I can give you more of like a high level interpretation of what I think could be going on. But since I did not receive your permission to read into your energy through a booking, I'm not going to be going that deep. I still hope that this can be helpful to you. Just at a surface level, it appears that the relationship moved very fast and got serious very fast. And before establishing any legally binding commitments to one another, like marriage, but you were living together, and that puts both you and her into a more vulnerable state with each other. And a lot of things can go really horribly, terribly wrong when we don't have the opportunity to really diligently observe our partner's behavior over time and before we engage in a situation with them that exposes us to material risk. The only way that you can really know if you can trust someone is to trust them. But how you get to trusting someone shouldn't feel rushed. The right person is not going to be in a hurry. The right person for you is okay with things taking their time. People who are in a hurry are sometimes rushing to escalate their relationship status because of anxiety or anxious attachment style. Sometimes the rushing is happening because that is how the person was conditioned by their environment or their upbringing or fear of scarcity. As in, if we don't move in together now, we may never be together. And so people just jump right in. I'm guilty. Sure, I've done that before. I've lost it all because of doing that. So I'm a great person to be advising you about this because I've experienced similar, and it's traumatic. It's very, very like having the rug pulled out from under you when these things happen. And another thing that I have observed in relationships in my own and in other relationships, the ones that move quickly is sometimes that level of urgency is because the person is trying to get in and get what they want out of the relationship and get out of the relationship as quickly as possible. And you're going to find this with like manipulator people, narcissistic personality people, people who lack empathy. Those people, they're willing to do what it takes and be pragmatic, even in their intimate relationships. Like they just don't have enough empathy to care. And if we don't take a lot of time to really vet people and put them under our microscope and have our trusted elders and our loved ones and our best friend to do a vibe check on people, we can run into these problems. You should always be having the people closest to you helping you vet people before you get involved in a relationship with them because their relationship with you is going to blend with all these other relationships that were pre-existing before this one partnership kind of synced up. That is one reason that I I tell people to take their time in relationships and not move too fast. As to your questions about her karma in all of this, I really can't answer to that because all I would know is that she did what she chose to do. So, but what I can tell you is that karma is positive when it's positive for us individually speaking, when we make choices that help us to express our soul's unique blueprint. That means like your divine self expression as a soul. You express this energy through your human life. And when you are expressing that true divine nature, everything everything tends to work out. You have a lot of support to just continue doing that. When we are expressing choices that are aligned for us, we get a result that allows us to continue doing that and making those kind of choices. So your karma is going to be quote unquote positive if you are making choices that are in alignment with your connection to source energy, vital force energy. So think of it that way. Some people would call that God. You can call it whatever you want, whatever works for you. If you're creating positive karma, then you're making choices that align you with receiving vital force energy or prana or whatever. It makes you feel alive when you make positive choices. When you make negative choices, those choices restrict the flow. They block the flow of that energy coming to us, and we can end up unconsciously or sometimes consciously drawing on energy from other people and their access to vital force energy. I hope this makes sense, but this is just, I'm talking about it from the frame of reference from my work as an Akashic Records reader and the modality that I was trained in, which specifically is called soul realignment. You can learn more about that on my website, Syrian Sage. Karma is not about punishment, and I suspect that the way that things are going to turn out for her is not going to be what you might think it will be. It's really karma is about cause and effect. So the choices that you make are going to give you a result based on the energy of the choice. Your choices are either going to reflect your focus and attention on yourself and your own healing, or they're going to reflect your focus and attention on her. When you're focusing on someone who feels very negatively about you, you are reducing your own access to vital force energy. And maybe this helps to put into a frame of reference why you might be feeling like it's really, really hard to live without her because your attention is so much on her. It's almost like you have a hole in your aura that is leaking energy and like pouring it out to her. So you have less energy available for yourself. And this will, it feels very draining. It feels like, yeah, collapse of all of your hopes and dreams, right? And I think that if you focus all of your attention back to yourself and healing yourself and create alignment with things that make you feel joyful and think about the things that brought you peace before you even had that relationship with her, what's that going to look like? You should be going in the direction of those things that are purely for you and for your own enrichment and for your own satisfaction and your own happiness and peace. Think about what things are going to increase your level of care for yourself, appreciation for yourself, gratitude and respect for yourself. That's how you restore the self after going through a toxic relationship. And this does sound like it was really bad for you. I'm so sorry. I think that her switching it up on you might have just been her showing you how she intended to handle herself in a conflict situation. And that conflict could look like anything because if you don't know them for like 2 years, you may not have seen a conflict situation that would allow for the true nature to be unmasked. So conflict always reveals character. Remember that. When things go wrong, that is how you're going to see a person's instincts and more of their true nature displaying itself to you. That's another reason you give yourself plenty of time before you escalate the status of your relationship with another person and move in together and start making life plans together. Like, let's have a baby. Well, maybe you want to find out what kind of relationship dynamics a person has with their neighbors and their siblings and their parents or their elders in their community. Like, what does that look like for them? Do they get along in a really healthy way? Those are going to be some of the most intense human relationships that that person could have. It will benefit you to observe how they behave around the people that have that kind of a lifelong relationship connection, as in, immediate family members and those, also connected in the larger family unit. Look at how they handle themselves. Like, is that how you want your family to be? Is that how you want your child to be raised in that kind of environment? In my experience, I have never seen that 10 months was enough time for people to really know one another. And when you connect your life with another person before you know them deeply, you won't know whether they could be masking problems or like dark personality traits or not until a conflict happens. And then the mask slips off. And basically, if you join up too hastily, you can expose yourself to an immense amount of risk. Anyway, I am going to wrap this up here, but thank you so much for your time and trusting me. And I hope that this helps you. And if you do want to book and have a private one-on-one session with me, just go to my website, Syrian Sage. Thanks again. Bye-bye.